Welcome back to Life's Chillent. My name is Avital, and this week's Parshat is Parshat Vayeshev. And Parshat Vayeshev focuses primarily on Joseph. And Joseph was the eldest son of Jacob and Rachel. So Jacob had 12 sons, and Joseph was the first son that he had with Rachel. But he was the second to last child to be born of the 12 sons of Jacob. And the Torah tells us that it says, Joseph at the age of 17 years was a shepherd with his brothers by the flock. But he was a youth with the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph would bring evil reports about them to their father. So if you remember from last week, Joseph was born, and when his brother when Benjamin was born, Rachel died in childbirth. And so the Torah is telling us that Joseph, he grew up basically with the sons of the other wives of Jacob. But that his brothers would do things that were bad, and basically that Joseph would tattletale, that he would tell his father about the bad things that they were doing. And that didn't harbor nice feelings between his brothers about Joseph. And the Torah continues. It says, now Israel, which is another name for Jacob, loved Joseph more than all of his sons, since he was a child of his old age. And he made him a fine woolen tunic. His brothers saw that it was he whom their father loved most of all his brothers, so they hated him, and they could not speak to him peacefully. So, again, continuing to bring animosity. First of all, Joseph is telling his father about all of the bad things that his brothers are doing. He's tattletaling. Second, now, it's clear to all of the brothers that Jacob's favorite child is Joseph because of the way he acts, and now making him this woolen tunic that singles him out amongst all of his other brothers as being the favorite of the children. And then third, the Torah continues and tells us that Joseph then has two dreams about, and he tells his brothers, he has two dreams that his brothers are bowing down to him, that they would be sort of worshiping him as that he is the greatest of the brothers. And so clearly, this doesn't make it so that his brothers like him. And when I was reading that, I was like, this is oddly familiar, because when you look at it, back in Parshat Toldot, we basically saw this same thing happening between Jacob, again, who is the father in this situation, but in this situation, Jacob was the child, Jacob and Esau, who were brothers, and their parents, Isaac and Rebekah. Now, Isaac and Rebekah, the Torah tells us, if we go back to Parshat Toldot, it said that Isaac loved Esau, for game was in his mouth, but Rebekah loved Jacob. So once again, the Torah is clearly showing us that these parents had their favorites. Isaac loved Esau, for game was in his mouth, but Rebekah loved Jacob. So another instance from one generation to the next of clear favoritism. Clear favoritism. So Jacob had been the favorite of one parent, while his brother was the favorite of the other parent. And we saw that this relationship also didn't go well because of this. Esau deeply wanted to kill Jacob. And like that, in this week's Parsha, the other brothers decide that they are going to kill Joseph. They decide that they are going to throw him in a pit. And initially, again, the plan is to kill him, leave him in this pit to die. But as we know the story goes, Joseph gets actually sold into slavery in Egypt. A caravan comes along and picks him up, and they take him to be sold as a slave in Egypt. So I didn't think it was coincidental that we saw it in a couple parshas ago as it related to Jacob and Esau, that there was a clear favorite amongst them between their parents. And in this week's parsha, where we see, again, a clear favorite child, and that both relationships between the siblings were not ones of peace. There was a lot of negative, ill feelings towards one another as it related to being able to single out who was the favorite amongst their parents and who was not. And when I was thinking about it and what can we learn from this, I was thinking about the value in being able to identify something within everybody, within each of our, if we have children, but just in people in general, being able to identify something clear and distinct about them that we love about them, that makes them our favorite for that reason. In the sense that each person that we interact with should feel like a favorite, so to speak. Each person that we interact with should feel special, because we should make it be like, oh, this friend is my favorite because they are so kind to other people. And this friend is my favorite because they are always thinking about me in ways to make me happy. And this friend is my favorite. You get the idea, but we should be able to, in each person, identify a quality within them that makes them special, that makes them unique, and we should be able to give them praise for that reason. Again, if you have children, you should be able to go to each of your children and tell them something that makes them special. Tell them something about them, some quality, some characteristic that they have that perhaps they excel in, that their siblings don't excel in. Make each one feel special and valued for the character traits that they have, because we can't all be the same. We cannot all, as it said that Jacob was loved by his mother because basically of his learning, but that Esau was loved because of his hunting. We should be able to identify a quality within each child, within each person around us, again, that is praiseworthy, and to really make them feel like that. I remember as a child, my parents they told me that they said that I wasn't a quitter. I think it related to something like a puzzle or something, but my dad told me that I wasn't a quitter. And my whole life it stayed with me that I'm not a quitter. And that little word of praise that you put into somebody's mind, when you give them a genuine compliment, that seedling of praise, again, it goes so far and it sticks with them for so long. And rather than coming to this point where the brothers had where they hated each other because there was a clear favorite and they all just wanted the love and attention of their parents, if we are able to find, again, whether we have children or whether it relates to our friends or our family or other people, something that we genuinely love and is special about each person, then I really think that that's a way to remedy this type of scenario to avoid it from happening. And so I wish you all a wonderful week and a Shabbat Shalom, and I look forward to speaking with you next time.